Arsenal Industries presents NBA Draft Profiles.
Karl-Anthony Towns is a 6'11" big man from University of Kentucky. He's got a 7-foot, 3.5-inch wingspan, weighs 250 pounds, and is 20 years old, hailing from St. Joseph's Prep School in New Jersey. Anthony Towns has really good size for a rookie big. He can play both power forward and center, and he's got really good athleticism. He shoots really well around the rim. He's productive and efficient as a finisher. He combines his size, strength, and athleticism to score. As a rebounder, he's very excellent. 8.5 defensive rebounds per 40 minutes, good for 7th in his draft class. 4.5 offensive rebounds per 40 minutes, good for 5th in his draft class. He has a very effective post game, and his passing ability is very underrated, certainly. He averages 2.2 assists per 40 minutes, which is 4th in his draft class among big men.
I would say that Karl Towns is a great athlete. I think as of right now, he's a jack of all trades, master of none.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's great at anything, but I think he's very good at a lot of things.
I think that's true.
I think his defensive ability, though, is going to be what gets him on the court initially. Mm-hmm. Now, we'll talk about this later, but his foul issues were something that plagued him at Kentucky. I think also going into the NBA system is going to enable some of his offensive talents to grow.
I think that's very true, and I think that's all good points. I think that also another point that should be brought up is how good of a free throw shooter he is, shooting 81.3%. For someone who didn't shoot a lot of jump shots, the ability to shoot and make jump shots is there for someone like him who can shoot such a high percentage from the free throw line. Although Karl-Anthony Towns has a lot of ability and some really good positives, he does still have some areas for improvement. His biggest area of improvement is definitely defensive discipline. He averaged 5.7 fouls per 40 minutes and fouled out 6 times despite limited minutes in Kentucky's platoon system. He had 8 games with 4 fouls. For him to really reach his full potential, he has to do a better job staying down on pump fakes and just playing with discipline. He's also not a very explosive player. He doesn't have Anthony Davis type leaping ability, but he is still athletic. He does still have a lot of good moves. Finally, the biggest thing is, or the second biggest thing is seasoning. He's very raw on both sides of the court with footwork and positioning, but he can definitely be a franchise cornerstone for a big man needy team.
I think that Karl he's very NBA ready. I think that's an underrated aspect of him as a player. I think that defensively, as you touched upon, he needs to do a better job staying out of foul trouble. I think he's got great potential as a shot blocker, but he does need to stay down more on those pump fakes.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to become a better weak side helper because that's where you get a lot of your shot blocking opportunities in the NBA.
Right.
And I think a lot of this will depend upon what position whoever drafts him chooses to play him at.
Right.
I think as a big power forward, he may have a little more trouble staying with this new age power forward,
Right.
who's like a Draymond Green
Yeah.
type player, who's a playmaker and is quicker and more shifty than the Towns.
Right.
But Towns as a center with his 3-point shooting potential and his shot blocking ability plus his size is a great NBA prospect
Definitely.
moving forward.
I agree with you there.
So, where will Karl-Anthony Towns go in this year's NBA draft?
I think that he'll go number 1 because of his ability. I think any team could use someone with his level of talent and his upside to become a potentially league-dominating player. But I think Minnesota is going to have to take him. They really don't have a choice. Pair him with Rubio and Wiggins and Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine,
and just let that group of young players grow together and get better together.
So, to make this clear and to make this obvious for all of our viewers, you think that where he should go and where he will go is the same team, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's they're both the same thing. Although I think where he should go could be, like I said, could be any team because almost any team could use someone that is this potentially franchise altering.
All right. Well, you've heard from us about Karl-Anthony Towns. We're going to be doing a whole host of NBA prospects leading up to the draft next Thursday, June 25th. And if you have any prospects you want us to feature or any NBA draft material you want us to cover, please leave it in the comments below.